Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show number 99 of the Ask Julius Show. As usual, we have Kasey Speer with us. Hi, Kasey. How are you?
Hello, everybody. Welcome into the show. It is a rainy night in Georgia here tonight. And I was just saying to one of my dearest friends today, as I was actually just sitting down for a couple of hours at Angel, and I'm like, how long has it been to have a lazy day, or at least a semi-lazy day? You know, our lives get so hyper productive, right? Hyper vigilant, hyper productive, and just sitting back and relaxing, having some tea before the show, you know, waiting for the time to come and being able to just sit there for a couple of hours. So sending everybody that love, that reset, that relaxation, and hoping that your lives are wonderful and magnificent.
Absolutely, because they are, and if they look like they're not, they will be soon. This is, as I said before, the show number 99 of the Ask Julius Show. Kasey and myself, we are both actually in the south of the U.S., United States of America, but we know that there's people in Europe, there's people in Asia, there's people all over the place, watching us, and we appreciate you very much. It was starting also to share some of the comments online. We always have a great audience, and as usual, we are live broadcasting to so many different outlets at the same time. You can see us on YouTube, on Rumble, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and all those places. We are very happy to have you. And we're always here to answer questions. So please be ready for the questions. Actually, today we're gonna change the order a little bit of what we typically do. And I'm going to start with the special for this week, okay? It's called Traversing the Matrix and the Void. And what is best, actually, you can go and scan this QR code at the top right corner of your screen. You go there, you point the camera of your cell phone, and immediately a browser will open on your device and will take you exactly to this place. I'm going to show you right now immediately. Here it is, Traversing the Matrix and the Void. And something I'm going to do immediately is actually I'm going to share this video, this wonderful video, as usual, with this butterfly. What an amazing butterfly. I love the color, I love the shape, everything. And here we have Kasey Speer talking about this incredible special of this week, the Traversing the Matrix and the Void.
Everybody, we have a very exciting three-part class coming up for all of you. If you have been very, very curious about all the chatter and all the conversation over the last, well, many years for some of you, but at least over the last few years about this matrix that we're all living in, and how to get out of the matrix, how to navigate your way if you want to stay in the matrix, and all the complications that, quite frankly, have a tendency to sound rather hopeless for all of us. Well, Julius is going to provide some extraordinarily powerful information for you in this class. We're going to be talking about traversing that matrix and the void, and to find out and be well informed on the power of the void, whether it can override the byproduct or the aspects of the matrix for you. It's going to be a wildly informative course, but more than that, a course, as all the courses from Julius are, a course to truly help you feel empowered, to gain your sovereignty back. You may be feeling that your life has derailed itself or has a very difficult time staying on the rails. We want you to come into your highest vibration, your highest joy, and your highest potential in your human experience. So come and join us for this class. Bring yourself an open mind and an open heart, and you're going to be so glad that you did. Traversing that matrix and the void, how they stand with each other or separate from each other. But we'll guarantee you, you are not a slave. You are not a slave, and you cannot be controlled in everything in your life, especially if you choose to not be controlled. So come and join us. We're very excited, and we will see you then.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. So that was exactly the video that is on the same page. Let me close this down. So we are back to this beautiful page, Traversing the Matrix and the Void. And obviously, there's never a coincidence, right? Obviously, there's a reason why that in this picture, the thumbnail that you picked for this three-part workshop is actually with a city, which is it looks like upside down, right? Like the clouds are at the bottom and the city is at the top. What's the message that you're trying to convey with that, Kasey?
Yeah, I think part of that is, the inversion process, what's up, what's down, what's in front of us, the holographic projection and how it works. And our perspective or your singular perspective is yours. And it's
lucky in the final four. Hopefully we get lucky. Hopefully luck is a little bit more of a lady, like Frank Sinatra asked her to be this Monday night in the national championship.
It's so funny that there was another video playing. My apologies. Go ahead.
Anyway, it's all about how your perspective creates your reality, that it's your projection onto the hologram. So I think this is an example of whatever you project becomes for you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And again, this is the description. This is a three-part live online workshop on April 15th, 16th, and 18th at 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Zoom. The first two modules are the teachings by Julius, and the third is the Q&A where participants can send in their own questions on the topic for Julius to answer. All right. And the people started coming in and saying hello, and we love you back. Nice to be here. Nice to have you here. Let's start with the questions that we have today. And the first question comes from, let me stop sharing. We'll share a little bit later today again. Hold on a second. Let me switch this off. 1 second. Thank you so much. And the first question is coming from Ashley Bell Caswell. My husband saw a yellow light in the shape of a person in our bedroom. It even passed through him. Did it have bad intentions? We were terrified when it was happening.
Well, Master, if it had bad intentions, you would know. You would have known through that experience. It would have been very bad if it had bad intentions. But what's interesting to us, Master, is that's the first place you went in your thoughts. Why were you not thinking how amazing it was? Why were you not communicating with this essence? Why weren't you in awe and spectacular joy over the experience that you were having with another essence and another being, which in fact will control the experience? Did you hear what we just said? Your perception controls and creates every experience for you, Master. And nefariism is very fast, very blatant. You would have known if that being or that essence had intention of harming you, probably before you were even aware of its presence. We would encourage you to stay away from fear. You're so programmed. Humanity is so programmed to be afraid of the things that they are not familiar with, instead of understanding that they are source and that your energy frequency protects you or invites negativity in. So focus on your frequency, Master. Focus on the wonderment of the experience and be joyous. Have conversation with your wonderful husband and see how this experience can expand you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And the next question comes from Learn George. And the question is, hello, everyone. Thank you for being here today. I was wondering if you can say if the IVF process is nefarious, or are the babies that are born soulless? Just curious. Thank you.
So intravenous fertilization, we believe, is what you are speaking of. If that is not correct, please correct us, Master, by filling your words out fully in these conversations, because abbreviations really do very little for us, okay? So a soul does not necessarily enter at point of conception into the embryo. So if you believe that is true, you are in an extreme limited belief system. So a soul enters when it chooses to enter. It can enter upon conception, but it can enter at any point of the gestation, and in some cases enters just right before the birthing process. So the conception act, how something is conceived, is not necessarily the gateway as to a soul entering into an embodiment. So we do understand, because you've probably been listening to people who say that, because they say that point of conception is the point of entry of a soul. We would tell you that that is not a full truth. It can be point of entry, but quite frankly, that not most of the time. A soul will decide at what point to enter that physical body based on whether they want to have the experience in gestation or not. And what's really interesting is a highly sensitive, empathic mother carrying that embryo and fetus usually will have an idea of when that soul entered. There is a shift energetically within her. There's usually a shift in connection between her and that growing being inside of her. So if you are having that process done, or if you are have had that process done, Master, empathy and compassion is the measure of a soul. Empathy and compassion is the measure of a soul. And we would say, hold truth and hold light in your heart for that process. It is not exactly the same process as when they are synthesizing beings and growing them in pods.
All right, thank you so much. Next question from Ethan Horton, Is the grand solar flash a moment in our trajectory that is going to happen?
So, Master, everything happens in the moment of now. You cannot think of anything that isn't. So it has already happened, or everything is happening. Okay, so we are going to tell you that you are the creator of your reality. So is the mass collective here on this earth ship. Everybody needs to be mindful of that which they choose to create for themselves. But Master, you as source created the stars, the galaxy, the solar system, the planetary system, and everything. It does not sit or live separate from you. We would suggest you try your very hardest to not be afraid of that which you have created.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Thank you. So next question comes from Hilda B. What is Julius' definition of the matrix, and what does it mean to break the matrix?
Come to the class and find out, Master. Come to the class and find out. That's what it's going to be all about, and it's going to be an amazing conversation.
All right, thank you so much. Next question from Sarah Air. A lot of people I know here in the US are struggling financially. Will there be relief soon, like rebate checks or debt forgiveness?
Master, you're asking us about, too many hardcore three-dimensional things. That's all up to your governmental systems. And whether they're going to unfold things at play or not, as far as their scheduling goes, is not under our control. So we cannot give you an answer for that. Can we tell you that there are plans for that? Yes. Can we tell you that there are plans for many things? Yes. But it is no different now than it has always been on the realm, Master. Your financial system is a governing system, and it is no different now than the way it has been for almost all time since humanity separated themselves from knowing themselves as source and started providing priority on commodity. So that system remains the same. We would suggest that everyone in their sovereignty find their way to create their safety and create shifts in their systems, because you seem to have forgotten that you are the ones that actually have the power through the numbers that you are. But that's not appropriate for this conversation here. All we can tell you, Master, is there are many plans to change the financial system around the globe at this time, And there seems to be efforts that they are rolling that out at this time. That's what we can tell you.
Awesome. Thank you. Next question comes from Tara. Hello, everyone, and thank you for another show. Is there a recommended treatment for trigger finger? Thank you.
Ooh, for trigger finger. Wow. Hey, so energy work master is very, very powerful. Very powerful. You have obvious trauma response in a trigger finger or anything like that on the body is a trauma response from the body, a fear-based response. We always recommend the same things, detoxification, mindful thinking, daily practices, calming your nervous system down. So the trigger finger is a trauma response, and your nervous system is in hyper overdrive. So we would suggest calming practices as well as heat and cold therapy and massage and energy work. That's what we would tell you.
All right. Thank you so much. Next question comes from Ashley Bell Caswell. Was the hippie movement of free love and counterculture of the 1960s really about love, or was it the government psychological operation?
Well, it depends on the people that were involved. Your government, you're under psychological operation right now, masters. What do you think all the programming is that you have? You're under a constant psychological warfare from your governments. So that time period is no different than any other time period. The drugs that your governments came up with, the psychedelic drugs, LSD, heroin, all of those are all psychological experiments for humans. And they all contribute to the mind manipulation and the programming manipulation. But there were many, many people at that time that were honestly working in love energy, trying to create unity consciousness, trying to eliminate prejudice, here on this Earthship, deeper and broader understanding, of each other. So it just depends on each individual's perspective. But is the government controlling your minds? Yes. And they have been for centuries, okay? And every war is a psychological movement. All of your assassinations are all about MK Ultra experimentations. Usually your serial killers are that way. So yeah, we can tell you that it does have a lot of psychological manipulation involved, but that doesn't mean that everybody involved was psychologically manipulated.
All right, fair enough. Next question comes from our friend Greg Nyman Jr. Julius, I understand that time isn't real. It's a construct of the three-dimensional. But playing in the three-dimensional, according to science, time slows down as you get closer to a black hole and stops in the center. I was wondering if a black hole is a tear, in the matrix, or a type of portal.
Okay. Yeah. So we will say that time doesn't really have anything to do with what a black hole is. So it is a access portal from dimensions to dimensions, from realms to realms, from timelines to timelines. And it is a teleportational transportal energy field to transport you from one location of the moment of now to another in an instant, usually instantaneously. It is a timeline collapse portal. It is a particle collapse portal. And it is very much like an astral plane field. Once you enter into what they call a black hole, which is a void hole, so it's considered like a void, it resets everything for you. And if you have the ability of clear mindset intention, you will instantaneously appear in your next thought, no matter where it is. So it is a void reset. It resets your reality for you that you normally have been caught up in. But we're going to tell you this. Your government doesn't know much about them at all. And those who have experience in the black hole are very few humanoid type of beings. And so they're relying on a lot of information from other beings and essences. But we will tell you that each of you, as in every part of your reality here, will have a different experience should you decide to visit a black hole.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Next question comes from Delene James, and that is his or her question. I believe it's her. While in the recent live Q&A workshop on Thursday with Julius and Kasey, I noticed something when looking at myself on the Zoom screen. Look at that. I saw what happened to be a portal above my head. Can Julius tell what that was? I was so fascinated with it and would love to know more.
Yeah, it was some of your group that hangs with you, Daleen. But you also have a few entities in your home. We think you're aware of that. So you have a group that travels with you, but you also have beings that are in your home as well. So that's what we will tell you.
All right, fair enough. Next question comes from, 1 second. By the way, the question about Jesus we answered the other day. The next question is, all right, here is the next question from JC Daly. Nice to have you. Again, Medical Medium new book on angels and demons confirms this is spiritual battle going on all around us. Well, that's a comment. Hold on. Next question is, are the awakened ones the ones who volunteered to come back and be light warriors? Are we all souls?
So sentient beings, masters, are all one. You're all one energy. The individual perspective is of a low consciousness perspective of separate and singular. You are all, as soul energy or source energy, you are fractal. So there is no separate or isolated soul from another. Okay? And the quote unquote awakened ones, there are souls that have decided to descend themselves onto this earthship and become more and more familiar and aligned with and aware of what is going on this earthship and this realm. And there are souls that come to play the roles of those who are not aware. But every soul that enters onto a realm of any kind at a soul level is very much aware of what is going on. How it ends up playing out its role is up to that soul at that time. So it's a much broader perspective, Master. We want to tell you that you're all playing on a stage in a theater with a drama playing itself out, and you're all playing scripts according to the roles that you choose to play. You can't remember that on a conscious level, but there isn't any soul here in what you're perceiving to be your now in this timeline, in this third dimensional aspect that has not chosen to be here and to participate in what could be a very, very powerful shift where you finally get released from some of the programming and the manipulation that has been taking place for all of you. And some souls will play out the roles of being part of that revealment, and some souls will be playing the roles that are convincing people that the control has been going on. So that's what we will tell you.
Okay, thank you so much. Next question comes from Love Lie Lauren. Hi, Lauren, nice to have you here again. When alchemizing certain situations and energies and using them for your benefit of expansion, what exactly does this look like? Could you give an example of how it benefits us?
Anything of high frequency would probably be what you perceive to be a benefit, Master, probably. So an alchemist, there's many different definitions of alchemy. We're going to presume that you are talking about changing low frequency to high frequency, an alchemist, or changing fear to love. Okay. It's making something out of the opposite of something. So alchemy works in opposition of what is previously there. And when you say benefits, we're going to presume that you mean that high frequency provides more opportunities than low frequency does. Low frequency is very limited, and high frequency is very expansive. And so we're taking a leap in trying to get into your headspace as to whether that's what you mean by benefits. Otherwise, Master, you are speaking of a judgment, something being good or bad, and we would say that is a limited perception in and by itself. So if you are practicing alchemy, which means that you are transferring dark or limitation into light and expansiveness, just focus on the aspect that expansiveness is high frequency and therefore always provides more wisdom and opportunity.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And we're going to revisit briefly the new 3-part workshop that we started talking about in the beginning of the show. In case you missed it, let me show this here right now. This incredible traversing the matrix and the void. Julius will assist in understanding the matrix and what makes it up and how to escape it. And I'm reading from the website. Hold on, let me reload the website so we have the original video here again. And let me also show everybody how this looks right now. 1 second, please. All right, and here it is. This is what you will find when you actually click on this or go to this QR code, and then you will be taken to this landing page on channelingjulius.com, channelingjulius.com. And again, as I said before, this is a 3-part live online workshop on April 15th, 16th, and 18th at 5 p.m. Pacific time US, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the US on Zoom. The first 2 modules are teachings by Julius, and the third is a Q&A where participants can send in their own questions on the topic for Julius to answer. Replay includes videos, downloadable audios, and bonus transcripts. Julius will assist in understanding the matrix and what makes it up and how to escape it. And they will bring in the understanding of the void and whether you can override the matrix within the void. All those things. Kasey, how can we possibly miss this 3-part workshop?
It's so much fun. These courses and classes are so much fun because, first of all, I never know exactly where the conversation is going to go. That's always fun. But honestly, people that participate and their enthusiasm and their desire to know more and more and more about who they are and where they are going and the potential of it all, Angel, it's amazing. We have been putting out course programming for 10 to 15 years now. And everything's getting broader and broader and deeper and deeper. It's crazy. It's crazy. And so what can I tell you? This is guaranteed to bend your mind and get you more in alignment with all the stuff that's going on.
All right. Thank you so much again. Take your cell phone, take your camera. As you approach the camera to the QR code, a web browser will be asked for you to be open. And then when you go to that browser, you will see exactly what we are showing to you right now. This landing page where you can immediately sign up for this workshop starting the 15th of April. All right. So thank you so much, everybody. And we will continue with the questions. And the next question comes from, 1 second. The next question comes from the one and only Sony Dean. Julius, you said that Canada, and I don't know what else, probably we mentioned Greenland, would be part of the United States. And my question is, why was this introduced in such a ridiculous and invasive way that would only provoke more resistance and opposition? Thank you.
Well, it's not done. And you are seeing the resistance to it playing itself out, not the intention and the benefits of what it will provide for you, as in most cases, through your programming that you're watching on mainstream media, and depending on who's controlling the narrative. So those who want to hide the benefits and want to keep the benefits for themselves will always create a very, very false negative narrative, and will always create all kinds of negativity and destruction until something gets completed and is fully understood for the benefits of the all. That's what we can tell you. Keep being patient. Keep sending out love and high frequency masters, and try your hardest not to fall into the fear-based reactivity until you see how things are intending to play themselves out.
Thank you, Julius, and thank you, Sony. And the next question comes from Monica. I keep feeling like time and material in third dimension creation is the way to make chaos into order. Otherwise, Source would continue to create infinitely. Could you speak about that?
Source does create infinitely, Master. We're not sure what you're saying. You are Source. Okay. Source does not live outside of you in any way, shape, or form. There isn't a being or an essence making any type of decisions for you. You've got to get out of that perspective. You are traversing on a physical realm in order to know yourself as Source through the physical. It has become governed because you have allowed it to do so. And you are playing out knowing yourself as Source mostly through limitation. When there is a limitation, there is a controlling aspect. As long as there is a tradable commodity for power, that is an aspect of control and manipulation. As soon as you decide to all come into unity consciousness and know that you don't have any needs whatsoever, only choosings, creations, and love and empathy, none of that fear-based aspect of the experience here on this Earthship shall continue. But that is all within your decisions and controls.
All right, fair enough. We keep on sharing the comments that we have from everybody here. This is chapter number 99, episode 99. It means that next week it's going to be episode number 100. Already episode number 100. That's incredible. That's amazing. And thank you for the love and the kisses. Sony, we really appreciate them, and we send them back to you as well. And the next question is from Turk Thornton. Hey, Julius. How do we start tapping in to get access to the knowledge within? I have so many questions, and I know the info is already known within me. How do I start to tap into this? Sending love.
By letting go of all of your fear and judgment of thought, Master. That is the answer. And we can't get into the details of that teaching here on this platform. There's many aspects of us teaching you, or let us rephrase that, reminding you of that truth. If you're interested in it, but that's the answer to your process. The only thing that keeps you separated from remembering yourself as Source is your fear and your judgment against all thought.
All right, thank you so much. And the next question comes from Christine Goebel. Hi, Julius. Why are they pushing trans? Is it just a sterilization tactic or what? Thank you.
Yeah, most of the people who are controlling the narrative here on this Earthship are in satanic worship, and Baphomet or Baal is transgender, so that's why they're pushing that agenda. That is the truth. It doesn't have anything to do with anybody else's opinion about whether they think it's okay to be transgender. That's not what we're talking about. You asked us why they're doing it. That's why they're doing it. Just like all of your theater with your sports, all of your theater with your education system, all of your theater with your economic system, everything that's in money, everything that's coded, your spelling, your languages, everything's about satanic worship.
All right, fair enough. Next question comes from Anna Abderholden. Will the drug and human trafficking cartels be stopped anytime soon?
Well, a lot of them are being stopped now. But Master, it's interwoven. It's not an isolated aspect. It's an interwoven into every system that you have, every system. And so it's like trying to track a cancer that is in every cell of your physical body and extracting it. And what is your body going to be left with? Okay, so you have to go much broader in what you could possibly even imagine is the infiltration of it. And because it's in every system, you have to find a way of removing it out of the systems without collapsing all of the systems, because you would collapse all of humanity's existence and what they rely on if you were to just shut all the systems down. So you're kind of on a journey of cancer removal, but the type of cancer that's in every cell or every subatomic particle of your body. You need to do it with delicacy, intention, precision, and usually with a lot of patience. And it could, in fact, take a lot of time. So that's what is going on.
All right. Thank you so much. And the next question comes from Tara. How many different senses are there possible in other dimensions? And can you please provide some examples of what a sense that humans do not have would be experienced? Thanks so much.
It depends on the embodiment, Master. So your sensory system in your third dimensional body, it runs through your nervous system of your humanoid costume, and it has to do with the sensory systems of the way that emotion is experienced through the body. So depending on the configuration of the dimension that you are in, and whether you are using the configuration to convert an aspect of knowing thought through senses and feelings, would have to do what senses are activated in what character that you are playing in the other dimensions and realms.
All right. Thank you so much. We're going to go to an offline question that comes from Ruth from New Zealand. Hi, it's a little bit long, just so that we all know. Kasey, Julius, and Angel. One of my sisters is terminal with lung cancer. Started out as a breast cancer, and she had chemo, etc., and has now spread to lungs. I have mostly cut ties with her, as she is a narcissist in every way. I feel that I should contact her and say I'm thinking of her, but can't quite bring myself to do so. A rift was caused with my siblings, as I refused to be jabbed and was the only one in the family to do so. Nobody talks about it anymore, like the elephant in the room, even though they all are having health issues. Can't decide what to do. Do you have any suggestions? Thank you so much. Love your show so much.
So, Master, it feels to us that you are allowing other people's opinions to dictate who you choose to be. Whether you choose to be compassion, love, and empathy for another sentient who cannot remember themselves as source is ultimately your decision and shouldn't be based on anybody else's perspective or behavior. That is the truth. Your action of compassion, love, and empathy is a reflection of you, not of the other person. Does it suit you to be compassionate and empathetic? Then be so. If it does not, then don't. There's nothing that we can tell you as to whether we think you should or shouldn't be. That's you or not. Are you going to allow a narcissist to make you a hateful and bitter person? Then they win, because that's exactly what they intend to do. Do you have to let them in, knowing how manipulative and how agenda and transactional they are? No, but you can still send them the love and the light into the reflective action of that which you are, which is a compassionate being, without intertwining and entangling in relationship with them. And that's a very private and personal thing for you. It's not something that you need to display. It's not something that you need approval of. And it's certainly not anything that you need permission from another.
All right. Thank you so much. The next question is also an offline question from Elizabeth. When I close my eyes, sometimes I see something like a jewel in the middle of my forehead in a dark blue color. Mm-hmm. I cannot focus on it because it flows like a cloud and disappears. What do I witness? Thank you.
You probably have just conjured up an image, perhaps, Master, of your intuitive nature. The question is, why are you running from it? Why won't you look at it? That's the message that you are giving yourself.
All right, thank you so much. And then the next question comes from, one second, Gabriela, also offline. We're gonna ask her first question. She has a few questions here. The first question is, I have been hearing about the creatine supplement has a lot of benefits. I've read and heard from people that it helps your muscles, but apparently it also helps to balance hormones during pre and post menopause. Is creatine helpful or not necessary? Thank you.
Depends on your vibration as to whether it is helpful or necessary, Master. Just like anything else out there, that is the answer that we can give you. That is the answer that we can give you. If you have a high vibration, you don't need anything like that. If you have a low vibration, then you are in need and lack, and then you will suffer bipartically, depending on whether it vibrates and effectively and matches the vibrational rhythm of your body. That's a truth. What we can tell you right now is that supplement that is being mass produced and sent out to humanoids at this point isn't of the purest form, isn't of the healthiest form, but that choice is yours.
All right, thank you so much. Next question from Ethan Horton. Can you tell me more about necromiton? Necromiton, Necromiton. I personally have seen them travel through mirrors. What is their purpose, Master Julius?
I'm not quite sure. We aren't familiar with the name that you are using, Master, but you are probably asking us if mirrors are portals to other dimensions. They can be, definitively. That is a truth. And there are all sorts of beings and interdimensional essences that travel through portals. That's what we can tell you. They are all around you. You have interdimensional beings all the time, traveling and traversing in and out all around you, all different types of dimensional essences. So some of them you can see and some of them you can't. Some are of low frequency and can cause chaos, and some are of very high frequency and can provide soothing. But a lot of times, Masters, they aren't paying any more attention to you than you are to them. It's kind of like being in a busy subway and people are just trying to get from one place to another. Not everything or every essence or every being that travels through interdimensionally is coming in to have anything to do with the low frequency beings here on this Earth ship.
All right, thank you so much. Next question comes from JC Daly. How do we get free of this psychological control?
It's a lot of work, Master. First thing you have to do is you basically have to be willing to surrender everything that you think you know at this point about your realm, about who you are and what is going on. So that's the practice of releasing cognitive dissonance. And that's usually the first step. If you don't think you're programmed, it's because you're programmed. If you have not fully embodied the truth that you are source and you are no longer living with any form of limitation in your life, it's usually due to a lot of programming. If you are no longer programmed, you would not even be in this conversation with us in any way, any time. And that's not to discourage you, Masters, but it's a process. It's a huge process. But the very first thing you need to be willing to do is probably be willing to ask yourself, what is the biggest point of information that is relevant to your life, your existence, and how you live your life? And what if that is not a truth? Where does that sit with you? And that begins the process of acceptance and the open-minded aspect and the possibility of all thought demonstrating itself.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And thank you, JC, for the question. This is show number 99 of the Ask Julius show. That show in which you send us questions through email at support@channelingjulius.com or here live. And we ask those questions to Julius through Kasey Speer, who is actually channeling Julius and their group of entities. Again, show number 99. It looks like it was yesterday that we started to do this amazing show. We go to the next question that comes from Sarah Air. What's Julius' perspective on keeping crystals and stones in the home? Do you prefer it to be left in the ground? Do they prefer to be left in the ground?
Yeah, great question. That is a great question, Master. So we believe they are amazing sources of energy and consciousness. And some of them are very resentful and find it extremely intrusive that they're being exploited the way that they are. And others find delight in the interactions with you and the possibilities of you understanding them and using them. So it's a mixed question on that. It would be lovely if humanoids would give far more consideration to the way that the way they treat the Earthship and extract and exploit the amazing things within the Earthship. But the crystals love communication. They love to shed and spread and share consciousness with you. And they know that in order to do that, it has a lot to do with handling and interaction of them. Mindfulness is very valuable. When you are deciding to have crystals in your home, treat them like very welcomed guests. Treat them with respect and honor, and we guarantee you they will treat you back that very same way energetically. But you are correct. We concur, and we love the fact that you just brought this up. Some want to remain in the earth. They do a lot of work in the Earthship for the Earth's radiance, for the health and well-being of this realm. And you are right. Some really need to remain there. What becomes very, very, very interesting is you could ask before you remove them. But most of the corporations that do that don't do that. But perhaps, Master, eventually you will, and then that will be amazing.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And we keep on receiving more and more and more and more questions from new people that we have not seen here ever or in a while. So thank you so much for being back. Thank you for joining us. Again, the next question comes from Ailish Keating. Are scalar energy systems helpful for health and energy? A scalar being the use of custom installed computers to generate morphogenic energy fields, scalar waves. It's patented technology.
Yeah. The scalar technology, Master, is, it's okay. It's okay. The sound wave system is, sound frequency is very, very beneficial to the body. The scalar energies are okay. They can be very beneficial for some and others not so much. You, of course, are amazing and high frequency, and you will know if it's something that works really well for you. It's like any other form of frequency, Masters. But things that come through a device that are run by a computer, they can sometimes have a whole lot of limitation to them. We're going to support that right now, in this moment of now, Masters, in this moment of now, right now, your highest known technological beneficial devices are not widely available to the general public yet at this time. And what is made available is far more intense with omni-quantum energies than the scalar machines. But we wouldn't say that the scalar machines are bad at all. We would say that they can have lots of benefits depending on the person and the situation that is going on. It's like the Rife machines. The Rife healing machines can be very beneficial for some, and others, they don't seem to feel like it affects them for them.
All right, thank you so much. Next question comes from Sandra Townsend. For a number of years, I've been donating to charities, but when I saw the large salaries that CEOs of some of these charities earn, I've pulled back from donating. How best do I look at this?
We would suggest that you go for the smaller charities, Masters. That's what we would suggest. You are correct. It's most of it's cabal. Most of it's not true. The larger ones, and we're not going to name them here, but the large ones, anything above the Fortune 500, platform is usually, very, very, very corrupt. But there are some amazing small charity donation facilitators out there that work very, very hard, authentically and genuinely to better things for children, for poverty, for hunger, for clear water, for electricity, for some of the basic natures for here on the Earthship. Just do your research. Just do your research. We know it's a bummer that you've been lied to. We wish it was as fun as, hey, donate to us and click this button and you could trust it, but you can't. So we would not want you to hold back your charitable nature. We actually believe that charity is part of your journey into consciousness because it helps you to demonstrate the knowing that we are the all and that you have an intention to know yourself and help yourself in another form and version of yourself. It's just that a lot of the systems aren't fully trustworthy at this time. So we would encourage you to do charity. You may want to do it a little closer to home, on a little smaller scale. Listen to your heart, but do your research so you can feel that you are contributing to a high frequency instead of a low frequency.
All right. Thank you so much. And the next question comes, and it's going to be the last one in today's show. Comes from our friend, the one and only Kasey Savage. And thank you, by the way, before I start reading it. It's something very intimate and private, but thank you so much for sharing and for allowing all of us to also know the answer from Julius. I'm sure that obviously you're not the only one. Those circumstances. So Julius, my life is in complete overhaul. My husband of 15 years had an affair, and I have moved out into an apartment with our son. I have been processing deep betrayal. I can't believe the lengths people will go to when you show them such loyalty and unconditional love. I wonder why I had to go through this. What do you say, Julius?
It is always, you go through everything for your empowerment, Master. That is the truth. And we absolutely feel you and hear you and understand you. Here is the truth, the ultimate truth. And we hope everybody out there can hear this to the best of their ability. Masters, when two people are together, it is because their energy frequency matches. And when they are no longer together, it is because they don't match anymore. That is the truth. Your actions or another person's actions will always demonstrate the frequency that they are in. When you have discovered that there has been actions of no honor and no integrity, it is showing you the frequency of that person. And obviously, you don't match that frequency anymore. We think that can be an amazing thing that can contribute to your ongoing state into your expansiveness and that which and who you desire to be this time around on your journey. You will work through your trauma. You will work through your pain. You will. And it's going to take a lot of work, but you're going to do it, and it's going to empower you, Master. It's going to empower you. There is nothing more gut-wrenching than betrayal, but we promise you, Master, that as you continue to work through the aspects of it, you shall know yourself as Source further. And we are so honored to be on this journey with you, and we will help to hold you in the space of love and compassion as you continue to heal yourself.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And that was the last question of today. The 99 show is almost over. The Ask Julius show. Thank you for all your questions today. We were a little bit short staffed here, but we were able to answer as many questions as possible. There are a few questions still not asked, but we're going to bring them back to the list, offline list, and then next week we will be answering as much or as many of them as we can. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate you as usual. Great turnout. amazing, how much love we receive every single night here in the US. Right now, it's almost 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As you know, every single Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the Ask Julius Show. And next week is going to be the 13th of April. Is going to be the show number 100. Thank you so much, Kasey. Any other things you would like to share with us before we go?
No, just want to thank everybody so much as the viewership grows and grows and grows and grows. We thank you all for your patience and your diligence in sending the questions in. We can only get so many in an hour, and we just keep rolling them. We are so grateful that it's getting larger and larger and larger. Just know that you are loved, you are appreciated, right? And we look forward to seeing you all next Sunday, right?
Absolutely. We will be here. And again, anything you need to know, anything you would like to ask us offline, send an email to support@channelingjulius.com. support@channelingjulius.com. Thank you so much for being with us. And now we go with our outro video. We love you. Thank you for being with us yet again. See you next Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, US. Bye-bye.